ceiling, what would you say in practical terms? Because we seem to be stuck in a debt cycle, needing to borrow to pay off. Yeah.
I think actually when I was in planning, one of the biggest the conflicts we had was with actually the office of the president. Because I remember myself and the CS were in Mombasa working on the final the budget, the policies for the 2017 to 2022 period. And that's when I was called and I was told that we have the big four pillars and we need to incorporate them into our plan. But then I asked, how do we have big four and that we are supposed to be on Vision 2030? Because our planning was actually anchored on Vision 2030 and not on the big four. The big four were new to us. And big four had been brought in by McKinsey. And they were not, so essentially they had come and sold this agenda and this plan to the president and had made us move away from actually our planning. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest challenge even today in Kenya, where we are excited by new things and we forget that the growth trajectory is really based on consistency and discipline to a set plan and agenda. We have Vision 2030, we have Africa Agenda 2063, which are the two that were actually anchoring our budget, our planning process. So, you see, if you're already spending 60% of your collections on debt, then it means that there's really, you can't expect to have much growth. At least there won't be development spending. And of the 60% that you're spending on debt, like local debt, is this year is going to be about 1.1 trillion. And the 1.1 trillion is before you even add the pending bills of 700 billion. So, and that's now, we've again moved, if you see the conversation with IMF, we've also moved away from concessional funding, debt for the foreign, to now more market-driven debt, which is a lot more expensive. So your Euro bonds, your different green bonds and all that, that's now no longer concessional. So it means that we'll continue to borrow at a much higher costs. So the question is, you see, even when you go to the bank yourself to borrow, it's always about what is that money going to do for you. If the money is going to generate a significant return for you, then there's no problem in borrowing. So nobody has an issue with borrowing. The question is, if you're going to borrow for consumption, if you're going to borrow for what goes into corruption, to fund corruption, if you're going to borrow to pay for more debt that you had taken before, so it doesn't make sense. So there has to be a real conversation on fiscal consolidation and fiscal discipline. How are we going to bring down the debt to the deficit from the current 5% to the intended 3%, 4% of GDP? Right. We talk about a very big budget. Like this year now, we've moved to about 4.7 trillion shillings in the budget. But of that, about 35% is borrowed. Only the KRA is expected to raise about 2.83 trillion. The rest, 1.7 trillion, is A&A and borrowing. So it's about 35% in borrowing. So are there things that we are borrowing for that we really don't need today? Because I keep saying, Kenya will be there 100 years from today. Norway is still building roads today. They're still building ports. So we don't have to do everything today, but we have to create a great foundation for whatever capital we are getting to be able to generate value and revenue and for us.
Nyakera, I want to look at three things that you've mentioned, right?